Most of you have seen the movie The Conjuring. You were probably terrified of that creepy porcelain doll named Annabelle. But you don't know the real story behind it. The movie changed a lot of things. The doll in the movie looks scary, but the real doll looks completely different. Look at this photo. She looks soft. She has button eyes. She looks innocent, but the story behind it is darker than any nightmare. Evil doesn't always look scary. Sometimes, it hides in the things we love the most. To know the true face of evil, we must travel back in time to the year 1970. Let me introduce you to Donna. She was a young, hard-working nursing student. She lived in a small apartment with her roommate, Angie. They were just normal girls, busy with their studies and saving lives. It was Donna's 28th birthday. Her mother wanted to give her a special gift, so she visited a hobby store and bought a classic, vintage Raggedy Ann doll. When Donna received it, she was happy. She thought it was a cute decoration. She placed it on her bed, smiling. To her, it was just a doll made of cloth and cotton. She had no idea that she had just invited a monster into her home. At first, she simply thought, maybe I forgot and put it there, or maybe my roommate moved it. But soon, she noticed something even creepier. It wasn't just changing rooms, it was changing its posture. Sometimes, she would find it sitting with its legs crossed. Other times, its arms were folded. Donna finally realized she wasn't imagining things. No one was touching it. The doll was moving on its own. Then, the psychological terror began. Donna and Angie started finding strange notes scattered around their apartment. They were written on parchment paper, a type of old paper they didn't even own. The handwriting was shaky and childish, spelling out chilling messages like, "Help us," and "Help Blue." Who was asking for help? And where did this paper come from? They were completely confused and couldn't understand what was happening to them. But the horror reached its peak one evening. Donna returned home to find the doll on her bed, but something was wrong. There was red liquid on its hands and chests. When she looked closer, she froze. It was fresh blood. There were distinct blood stains on the doll's fabric hands. Terrified by the blood, the girls finally decided to seek help. They called a medium, someone who could communicate with spirits. During the seance, the medium revealed a heartbreaking story. She told them, long before these apartments were built, a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins died in these fields. Her spirit is still here. She is lonely. She likes you both and just wants to stay inside the doll to be loved. Donna and Angie were nurses, so they naturally had kind, empathetic hearts. They felt sorry for the little girl, so they made a fatal mistake. They said yes. They gave the spirit permission to inhabit the doll, but they didn't know the terrifying truth. It wasn't a lonely little girl. It was never a little girl. Donna and Angie had a close friend named Lou, who often spent time at their apartment. Unlike the girls, Lou never trusted that doll. He sensed something evil about it and constantly warned Donna to throw it away. But they didn't listen. One night, Lou was staying over. He woke up from a deep sleep but found that he couldn't move a look, and saw the doll climbing up his leg. It slid over his chest and settled on his neck. It began to strangle him. He couldn't breathe and eventually blacked out. The next morning, he went into Donna's room to check on a noise. The room was empty, except for Annabelle in the corner. Suddenly, he felt a burning pain on his chest. He ripped his shirt open and found 7 distinct claw marks, 3 vertical, 4 horizontal. They were hot like burns. These weren't scratches from a doll. These were marks. Off. A beast. Realizing they were dealing with something deadly, the girls contacted a priest, who immediately called in Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens revealed the terrifying truth. They told Donna, spirits do not possess things like dolls. They possess people. The entity inside wasn't a lonely little girl looking for a home. It was a demonic spirit looking for a body. It had manipulated them to get permission, and its ultimate goal was to possess Donna, to save their lives. The Warrens performed an exorcism on the apartment and took the doll away with them. But taking the doll home was a nightmare. Ed and Lorraine put Annabelle in the backseat of their car and started driving. Suddenly, the car swerved. The brakes failed. The steering wheel locked up on deadly curves. They were about to crash. Ed realized the entity was attacking them. He pulled out a vial of holy water and threw it onto the doll. Instantly, the car stopped. The engine calmed down. They had survived the ride, but they knew this was just the beginning. They finally locked her in a special glass case in their occult museum. But even behind glass, the evil was active. One day, a Catholic priest visited. He saw Annabelle, laughed at her, and said, "You're just a rag doll. You can't hurt anyone." Ed Warren warned him not to mock her. On his way home, the priest's new car brakes failed instantly. His car was destroyed in a massive crash. He barely survived. But the next victim wasn't so lucky. A young man visited the museum and started banging on the glass case. He shouted, "If you are real, scratch me. Do it!" Ed Warren kicked him out immediately. 3 hours later, that young man was dead. He lost control of his motorcycle and smashed headfirst into a tree. He died instantly. Today, she sits in a glass box in the Warrens' Occult Museum in Connecticut. A sign in the box reads, "Warning, positively do not open." A priest comes twice a month to bless the room. Not to protect the doll, but to keep the evil inside. So, if you ever decide to visit this museum, remember one strict rule. Do not touch the glass, and do not look into her eyes, because she might be locked in. But she is always watching. For more real horror stories like this, subscribe to Nightvora.